Hello, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for tuning in once again to this week's episode of The Pillosopher. I apologize that last week's episode is going to be up late. In fact, it'll probably be up right before I put this one up. It's been a busy week, but we're still trying to get content out for you. Anyway, this week's episode, I think Nick and we're going to try to focus on the right-wing populist, or at least the rise in right-wing populism that we seem to be observing, especially in the wake of these MEP elections.
The surge.
The surge, as you could call it. It's been something that I have predicted is happening, and not just me, lots of people. And to see it now start playing out in the MEP elections and the parties that are winning, it's somewhat vindicating and somewhat worrisome at the same time, because I don't ever like it when the pendulum swings too hard in one direction.
No, it turns into a wrecking ball.
Yeah, it turns into a wrecking ball. Well put. So with that, I suppose let's begin talking about the UKIP, the UK MEP elections. Do you have any opening thoughts on the matter?
UKIP bombed.
UKIP did bomb, which, if for anyone who hasn't been following us at all, that was kind of the party we were pulling for.
Yeah.
But more than anything, it was Brexit.
Yes.
And the Brexit party demolished everybody.
Yes, they did.
So I'm happy with the result, even though it wasn't UKIP who's delivering Brexit. It was ultimately Brexit that I thought was what was best.
Yeah. All right. So if you're going to be principled about it, you have to recognize that even though UKIP lost, the Brexit still won. Not necessarily, well, the Brexit party won, but Brexit itself, the idea of it, won.
Again.
Yeah.
Again.
And
it can't be stressed enough, the again part of that.
That's right.
Yeah, the popular vote was for Brexit. Democracy, as democracy has been since, for our whole lifetimes, demanded that Brexit occur.
What we voted for is what we voted for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what they voted for, was Brexit. And now it looks like they're voting again for Brexit in this election, which is kind of what they were doing, It was, do we really want it? Do you guys really, really want it? And oh yes, the English people want it.
Yeah.
Well, it was like 18 points. I'll look up the numbers here in a second, but it was like 18 points that Brexit had on the next closest party. And the next closest party, the Liberal Democrats, are not one of the mainstream centrist parties.
Yep.
The Tories, the Conservative Party, and Labour, they lost big time.
Yep.
Big time.
Yeah. It was a landslide for Brexit.
Which
Brexit almost had more votes than the next two combined. So it's pretty telling.
It's very telling.
Yeah.
That hard to deny what that message was.
Did that vote include those statistics? Did they include the total number of people that voted?
I guess I don't. Not what I was looking at. It was just the total. It was just the vote share.
Okay.
Of people who did vote.
Right. Because I would assume that probably not as many people voted in this election as they would maybe for like a prime minister or something.
Maybe. That would make sense. But let's see. Brexit, 31.7% of the vote. Liberal Democrats, 18.5%, which was the next biggest. So we got 31.7%, and the next closest was 18.5%. That is a blowout.
Yeah.
But then you have after that Labour at 14%, and Green beat the Conservative Party. 11.1% with the Greens. Conservatives at 8.7%.
Yeah.
Yikes, Conservatives.
Yeah, that's what happens when you run your country into the ground.
Yeah, well, Theresa May didn't exactly do any favors, did she?
No. And she's out now, too.
Yeah.
That was the other big thing that happened in the UK.
I watched her resignation. Not live, but I did see clips of it.
Yep.
And it was very emotional. I understand why.
On her part, yeah.
I mean, she fucked up. It can't be easy to go in front of the entire world and admit it.
Yeah.
So good on her for doing it, though. I'll say that. As much as I thought her to be foolish and playing the game wrong, so to speak. Like too timid, too centrist, no backbone. Wasn't willing to execute the Brexit that she was tasked with doing.
If only she had had the balls to go through with Brexit the way that she did with her apology.
Yeah, right? That's about right. She wouldn't have had to apologize, probably.
No, she wouldn't have had to.
But these are the way these things go, and good on her for not dragging it out too long. Like, she saw the wins.
Although she did drag it out too long.
You think so?
I think she did. I think she probably should have stepped down a while ago.
All right.
Especially after the second Brexit vote, because didn't they have a second referendum on the first referendum?
I don't know. Did they?
I thought there was something about that.
I guess I didn't hear about a second referendum on the first referendum. I know that the establishment, quote unquote, did not like the referendum, so they were calling for a second one over and over and over and over every day in the Guardian and whatever else. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there actually was one.
I thought that there was something about that, or maybe they were trying to get it to happen.
I know they were trying to get it to happen.
I think that they were trying to get another referendum the referendum for the referendum.
Yeah, the referendum on the referendum for the referendum, and we'll just keep voting till we get it right.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like Europe.
Just like Europe. I don't know if there was a second referendum. I know they were trying to get one though, so one way or the other. However many referendums there were, this recent MEP election, I mean, there just can't be debate anymore.
Yeah, people want
about what English people want.
People want Brexit.
Yeah, overwhelmingly want Brexit. I mean, Brexit Party was founded 6 weeks ago? I'm pretty sure.
Not long ago.
I think it was 6 weeks. It was plus or minus a week. Like, it was yesterday, more or less, in political time. It was an eye blink. And it's the dominant party by far. That, I don't know how they're going to spin this. I know they're going to try to, but I can't even think of how they will. What they'll even be able to say.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, but you know they're going to try, right?
They'll try.
Yeah, do you have any guesses as to what stories they may write, articles?
Oh, who knows? They're probably already writing them right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Probably something to do with race and.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, they're definitely gonna call England a racist nation.
Yeah,
that's going without saying because they don't want to be part of an European super state. Yeah, ergo racism.
Yeah,
they'll
left,
find a way to make that link.
Yeah, the left hasn't changed their tune or their tactics in the last 5 years.
No, they haven't.
Or however long it's been since this.
I would say fucking 50 years.
Fair. I would maybe not the left. How about the media class?
The media class is better because the old school left, they were more just like labor unionists and working class advocates, which is fine. Mm-hmm. I have no qualms with that. So I'd say media, the kind of media class. Priest class,
the modern media.
Yeah.
They haven't changed their tune or their tactics since Gamergate started.
Oh no!
So I would expect more of the same.
Yeah, I would expect much more of the same. And, in fact, not even more of the same, like, way more.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just England that's going populist right. It was everywhere.
Yep.
Like, everywhere it was doing it. Marine Le Pen's party.
In France.
Yeah, Marine Le Pen lost the election, but Macron has done such a poor job, and of course the Yellow Vest riots and everything.
Yep.
That the people of France are like Marine Le Pen's party is surging, just like Brexit party did.
Yep.
Like she is becoming the hero of France. You know, like the what they think they need, and they do need her. I think I thought they made a huge mistake in their last election.
Yeah, they might need her more socially than economically because I don't think she has the greatest economic policies.
I agree. I don't think any of these populist movements have good economics. Mm-hmm. Like I am, dare I say, a globalist when it comes to economics. I like free trade. I think trade deficits are not bad things. It's like I have a trade deficit with my local grocery store, right? Mm-hmm. They've never bought anything from me. Yeah. I bought stuff from them, and I'm perfectly happy with this arrangement.
Yeah.
So I think that free trade globally just tends to lower costs and increase efficiency and all the good capitalist tropes that you hear.
Right.
Now, I understand where the populists are coming from. Protectionism, they...
Yeah.
There's something to the argument that, like, a global free market is kind of a race to the bottom. Because, why pay you $15 an hour when they can pay someone $5 an hour to whom that is like a 500% raise
Yep.
from the third world. So I understand the concerns of the nationalists economically, but I just think it's short-sighted, I guess. That said, they are winning. That's really
they are
more than what my personal opinion on the matter is.
Yeah.
More just the observation.
Yeah.
That it's going their way.
Yeah, they need help socially though. I mean, just with, like you said, the Yellow Vest riots and everything else. That's just the EU forcing shit on them that nobody wants.
Yeah.
And it's actually destroying people's countries.
Shit such as, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, immigration would be a big one, I would say.
Probably. I mean, almost definitely the big one.
Right, for countries, especially European countries, since they're much smaller than the U.S., they can more of, I would say they're probably in a better position to nationalize healthcare than we are. We have a much larger country.
Yeah.
Many more people. And so it would
many.
cost a lot more to nationalize U.S. healthcare than it would, say, Norway.
Oh, yeah.
It's
not even in the same ballpark.
Right. So they have the capability to do that. And if they want to do that, fine. But once you start letting in hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people into your country who don't pay taxes or anything like that, you're just straining your resources, stretching everything way too thin.
What was it? Milton Friedman who said, you can have a welfare state or you can have open borders, but you cannot have both.
Yeah.
Seems pretty basic to me.
Yep.
Now, counterpoint to that, illegal immigrants can't get welfare because there's a whole application process. You have to be able to provide documentation, paperwork, and it is not easy to manufacture this paperwork. It's expensive. It's difficult. They kind of know what they're doing to try to weed this stuff out.
So that's good.
Yeah, it is good. So illegal immigrants can't get welfare, and they also can't vote. So a lot of the fear, I think, is somewhat overblown. At least this is the counterpoint I hear, and it makes sense. We have an illegal immigrant can have a child in the United States, and that child now can get welfare.
Are we talking about the United States though?
Yes, the United States.
Okay, so we're not necessarily talking about the UK.
I don't know enough about the UK. I'm guessing though
or any other country.
I'm guessing though that it would be a very similar system,
right? Because
a lot of our systems are very similar. So I can only speak about the U.S. because that's all I know.
Right.
So
I don't think that's the same. I don't think it's the same case as like countries in Europe.
That could be the case.
I don't think that's the case because it seems like, well, with the way that they have it all set up, freedom of movement, right? Anyone from anywhere can go anywhere else and get benefits.
Sure.
So, if the majority of people are going to one place, then and that nation is legally inclined to give them benefits, right?
Yep.
So you're
if they are
right. That's that way that's set up. I think it would be is definitely detrimental to the country. And the citizens who are already there.
If it is set up in such a way as that, it would be insanely. It would be suicidal to open their borders.
Yeah. Economic suicide.
Mm-hmm. And I know that, like in England with the NHS, the National Health Service, you get an influx of people who can't pay who don't pay into the system. Even if they're not collecting welfare, they are collecting free health care when they get in a car accident or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, the term that I hear often used with that is health tourism.
Health tourism. Yeah. That is a good term.
Yeah. They come in looking for health.
That's something. Yeah. That's something that I think the right has finally started getting good at. Wordplay, terminology. Like the left has been just godlike in this game forever. They can just turn they just turn whatever they want into these mushy words.
Yeah, but with the left though, you're right though. It's mushy with the left.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're good at it, and it makes them seem like more intellectual than they actually are, right?
Yeah, well,
because they use bigger words, you know.
Sure. Instead of shell shock, it's post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes, or what was the one that I had recently given to me? Weaponized stigma.
Weaponized stigma. Yes, that's a great example.
Yeah, like it's super flowery and it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It's just word soup.
Mm-hmm.
But health tourism, you immediately can understand what that is, because it's worded in a much more simpler way. We know what health is. We know what tourism is.
Sure. And you can understand what the concept that they're trying to communicate to you is. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, instead of people coming to see the sights, they're coming for the healthcare, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's much easier to understand than something like weaponized stigma.
Yeah,
or
like
microaggressions.
I think another good example from the right is economic migrant, as opposed to refugee.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, no, these are economic migrants,
Yes.
which is using words to create a label. But in this case, accurately.
It's an accurate label, and I think that's the difference. That is what it is. Like, what else would we call that? Mm-hmm. I can't even think of a better term for that.
Whereas, like the reverse, you have what are they called? Dreamers. The left calls these illegal. I don't know if they're the children of illegal aliens, or I don't remember exactly what it's referring to, but they're dreamers.
Yeah, that's specifically designed to play on your heartstrings.
Dreamers. It's like mushy word soup stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what does that really mean? You're just trying to manipulate us with wordplay, which the left has been so good at. And I like to see the right pushing back finally, using its own terminology and not letting the left just set the terms we use, set the terminology. Like, no, I'm not going to call him a dreamer. No, I'm not going to call him a refugee. No, I'm not going to call them this. I'm going to call them what I think it is. Mm-hmm. And I like to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not disingenuous either, what they're doing. It's
I mean, maybe they're wrong, maybe they're not, but it's not disingenuous.
Right. If someone comes up with a better term, then I'm sure that they would probably start using that. Mm-hmm. Why not? But not calling a refugee an economic migrant when they have nothing to do with, there's no war in their home country, right? They're just leaving it for their own personal betterment, or maybe their families or whatnot.
Sure, which is a noble thing. I don't mean to discredit. Like, I'm not trying to be anti-immigrant here.
Right.
Just
but to label those people as refugees
is misleading and incorrect.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't like that, and I don't think the left understands how badly they are undermining their own the outcome that they want. They are undermining it by doing this.
They own themselves every day.
Every day. And it's because they're in such an echo chamber, to go back to an earlier episode, but I don't want to get too lost in the weeds on that. But that is why. It's they don't have any idea how badly we are laughing at them. And they think they're laughing at us, but it just makes it 10 times funnier that they think that's the reality.
Yep.
As the rest of us are just like, I mean, at this point, not even, I was about to say jaw drop, but at this point, it's not even that. Like, at this point, it's just what you expect. These people are so disconnected.
Yeah, I agree completely.
And to tie it back in a little bit to the theme of the episode, right-wing populism, it's kind of an ongoing troll from the right-wing trolls on the internet to see what they can convince the media is a white racist power symbol.
Yeah. Yep. See
how absurd they can get it.
Yep.
See what they're willing to believe is true.
Yes.
now it's the hashtag because it kind of looks like two H's together.
Yep.
So they're saying that's Heil Hitler.
Yep.
And they're calling it the fash tag, which is hilarious. I saw someone refer to it as the ash tag. Because, they burned all the Jews.
Oh.
If you can't laugh at this, I am sorry. It's the funniest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. Is this just on? I remember the first time when I saw CNN talk, like Pepe, They had a
Oh
main
my God,
segment.
yes.
I was on the floor rolling in laughter because
Yep.
I was in Kekistan. Like, I was part of that whole thing.
Me too.
Yeah, I know you were. And
I'm
watching
proud.
us troll these multi-millionaire just journalist class super elites.
They didn't have a fucking
They didn't
clue
have
what they
a
were
fucking
talking
clue.
about.
And we showed it. We showed the whole world that who these people are.
Yeah.
How disconnected they are. And it just hasn't stopped.
No. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I mean, it's technology, right? I mean, like that's kind of where this is.
Yeah.
You know, like we're more, the younger age is more tech literate, right? Social
Absolutely.
media literate. Like we get all this stuff, but these old farts in high places, they don't have a clue.
They don't know.
They're so disconnected.
They don't know that they've been made the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
And they just have no idea. And it's so funny.
Yes.
I love it. I love watching it. But I had a point I was going to make too. I just lost my train of thought. But one way or the other, look out for the fash tag.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones too, like that S symbol.
That's with the super S or whatever that like every girl drew.
Every high school girl.
Every high school girl. It's kind of like a fancy. I'm sure whoever's listening, I'm sure you've encountered.
You know what's really interesting about that symbol? Like nobody knows where it came from. Like it's I could be wrong about this, but like nobody has been able to trace it back to like an original thing. And I've even seen, and I don't know if this is true, it kind of seems a little outlandish, but there might even be like ancient cave paintings or something that have this symbol on it too.
That strikes me as outlandish.
It does. So I don't think that's accurate.
No.
Whatever, but it seems like it's a symbol that nobody has any idea where it came from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, all I know it as is that cool looking S that girls drew in high school all the time.
Yeah.
And now it's racist because it stands for SS, which is of course Hitler's.
Yeah, you can put two of them next to each other and it looks.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's Nazi.
Yep.
So let's see. What is the list of things that basically the internet has trolled the media into thinking is white supremacist? There's the most famous, the OK symbol.
OK symbol. They've done milk.
They've done milk. Okay. Got the fash tag. We got the super S.
Yep. Pepe.
It's just a frog.
Yep.
It's now racist.
Yep. Just basically memes in general, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's some other one too. The rainbow flag.
Yep. They were trying
because
to do
they
that.
like all the colors separate and straight.
Yep. That's right. That was that one. Gosh,
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure there was a couple other ones too.
There is, but it's just amazing to watch. Just amazing. I don't know, like we're at the point now where I think we can safely say these people are never going to get it.
No.
Like when the whole kind of like new media internet revolution started to really take off, everyone was kind of hopeful, you know, like
it's a new frontier.
Like cuz like no one was even, well, I don't want to say no one. I really don't like using words like no one, everyone so much. But very few people were pure rage monsters, you know? Like there was a lot of optimism. There were things they were upset about and things they'd like to see changed. But there was hope that they would be listened to now, that there was a new community emerging, that a voice was rising out of, that with actual resonance in the voice, you know, like actually heard. Mm-hmm. And all it's been met with every single step of the way is just the most disingenuous, straight out lies, just terrible, destructive opposition that just wants it gone. Doesn't want to engage with what anyone has to say. Doesn't want to look themselves in the mirror. Which is essentially what this whole thing was about initially. It was like leftists telling the left to check itself.
Yeah.
And they just didn't want to hear that.
No.
Oh boy, did they not want to hear that.
No. Well, when you think you're the righteous side of the argument, what point is there to self-reflect, to analyze yourself?
Right?
There isn't one. So here we are. 50 years later or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
Yeah. It's getting funnier, too.
It's getting funnier, too. I saw this
Honk, honk.
Honk, honk. That's right. Honk, honkler. Which, of course, makes you a racist.
Oh, well. Yes.
If you weren't aware.
I've been called worse.
Yeah.
If you can imagine.
I can't.
Isn't that funny?
you are so mild-mannered and... Like, I can be a loud prick on the internet sometimes. Of course, it's intentional. So I kind of bring it on myself. I know what I'm getting myself into. I expect it. So, but like you are not that at all. So when you get accused of these things, it's so absurd. It's so crazy to me.
Oh, man. One of my favorite conversations that I ever had on the internet was with two dragon otherkin.
Let's explain what otherkin are.
Otherkin. Okay, otherkin are people who have this idea that they are not human, essentially. Like they don't self-identify as human.
Sure.
They identify as something else, and it can be pretty much anything that they want it to be. There are just regular animal otherkin, like horse, wolf, that kind of thing, dolphin, whatever you want. Yeah. It's just whatever you want to be recognized as, right? You just call yourself, I'm a wolf otherkin.
Sure.
Okay. People also have gone to fantastic creatures as well. Fantasy beasts.
Like dragons.
Like dragons, like unicorns, like elves. I'm an elf otherkin, right?
Wow.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I've heard of this. It's still baffling.
It's freaking bizarre, right? And if you're gonna let people identify as whatever they want, then why wouldn't people do this?
I mean, I've always wanted to be an elf, and I get to now, and I get to be treated by the society around me as if I were.
Yeah, that would be.
All right, sign me up. Yeah. Elf Jesus.
Elf Jesus.
Can I be Elf Jesus Freddie Mercury, please?
That would be an unbelievable force to reckon with.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that would be who I would be if things
literally
were socially constructed.
Everyone would be for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the gay agenda with Freddie Mercury. You've got the Christians backing you because you're Jesus,
yeah.
And you've got all the weirdos out there because you're an elf.
Yeah, I mean everything. It's the near perfect. It's the Antichrist.
It's the perfect identity.
Yeah. plus, it's this the greatest rock singer of all time.
Yes.
So you have music fans.
Yes, you have unbelievable level of entertainment.
Yes. All right, but we digressed. Anyway,
faggot on the mount.
Nice. Okay, I feel like you were driving at a point though here.
Yes, I was. My all-time favorite Facebook conversation was with two dragon otherkin. So I'm a big, and this is going to be a bizarre twist in this right off the bat. So I'm a big Lego fan, and there was a period of time, I don't see it nearly as often as much, but on Lego's Facebook page, they would often do intersectional type posts.
Okay.
Where they're clearly in favor of women, and they have this sort of female
the oppressed
bias.
Groups.
Yes.
The groups lower on the oppression hierarchy.
Yes.
Or higher on the you know what I'm saying.
Yes, and they do this a lot, especially during International Women's Day. Almost every time I see their posts, they have something with International Women's Day. And they've even had some sets where they've only done female minifigures in them. And this is supposed to be some kind of great feminist renaissance in toys. And it's really not that. It's just a virtue signal to get you to buy their shit, really.
Well, of course.
But the feminists went crazy for these. It was a set with just a bunch of female scientists doing sciencey things. Like there was a paleontologist, there was an astronaut, physicist type person, and chemist, and whatever else.
Sure.
Okay, so I always liked going to the Lego's Facebook page and making a point like, we don't need more female doctors. We don't need more male doctors. We just need more doctors in general. Like, why do you have to gender this issue?
Right.
you know?
And I agree with you on this.
Yeah.
I know this is definitely one of the more controversial things that you and I talk about.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though.
Yeah. So that's some context as to why, like, I go to Lego's page and kind of politicalize things because they're already freaking doing it.
Yeah, well,
you're
not...
My point is, like, let's not politicalize it. Like, why does it have to be gendered? You know?
Sure.
Why do we celebrate International Women's Day? I've never seen Lego post anything about International Men's Day, ever. And every time I see them doing International Women's Day, I'm right there. Are you going to do this again on International Men's Day? And I think that's in September.
Yep.
So...
But of course, the answer is no.
I've never been given a straight answer.
Well, it's no. We know the answer.
Yeah,
we know how this game operates.
Yeah.
And we know the reasoning.
Yeah.
And we know why it's bullshit, frankly.
Yeah. Now, in the case with these Dragon Otherkin individuals, I went there actually to not politicalize anything, right? Mm-hmm. My opinion was that they were, I don't remember what it was that they were trying to promote, but I'm a big Lego castle fan. I love Lego castles. I love looking online and seeing all these amazing fucking castles that people build. They're enormous and they're ornate and intricate. And I would love to have a space in my own place set aside that I could build a fucking awesome ass castle.
Sure.
So, but Lego currently doesn't have any castle sets, and they haven't for a couple of years. And they had like a cross between space and castle, which has been discontinued now. But I would rather go like traditional castle, right?
Why would they not have That seems like a basic Lego.
They rotate. So.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So they go through periods like.
So it's not like they're just done with it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So they rotate back. They'll rotate it back in probably in the next couple of years. There'll be a new castle theme out, and they'll have a bunch of sets with castle. But they do that, to keep things fresh.
Sure. All right. I got you.
Yeah. There's really good reasons why. I love talking about Lego and like the business model that they have. It's really interesting, but we don't have to talk about that right now. So, castle sets, right? Now they have another set series out there called Elves and Lego Elves, and this is more targeted towards, I would say, girls.
Sure.
The sets they're very bright, vibrant pastel-like colors: purples, light greens, light blues, oranges, fuchsia, that kind of color scheme, right? And the characters, they actually use different minifigure characters. They call them minifig dolls, really. I mean, they're a little bit taller than a standard Lego minifigure, if I can remember right. I don't own any because they're all girly, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't really interest me. But they've done a lot of product research with this, and this is what girls would rather play with than your typical Lego minifigure.
Sure.
So that's why they use these things.
Excuse me.
They look like dolls. They got bigger eyes. They're cuter.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
All right.
So with these sets, they have buildable creatures, and a lot of them end up being dragons, and they're fucking cool. They look cool, but at the same time, all of the stickers that you can put on them, they're all very girly. So you've got these awesome dragons built up out of Legos with eyelashes and shit.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'm not I really wish that these sets, as cool as these dragons are, I really wish that these sets weren't stylized in such this girly fashion, right?
Sure.
I would be all over those dragons if they weren't so girly looking. So what I would like to see from Lego is I would like to see a bit of a cross between these Elves set series and a new castle theme, where you can have more of your traditional mean gold hoarding dragon, mm-hmm. with built in the same way that these Elves dragons are, with a castle. I think that would be perfect, and I think I think Lego would get a lot of money out of something like that, because finally we've got some really good dragons actually associated with a castle theme, rather than the old style dragon, which was really not the greatest thing. It was really
underwhelming.
Yeah, it was really underwhelming. Like if you could build up a dragon with 4 limbs and breathe fire and all that stuff, rather than just socket some arms and a tail and a head onto a thing, like that's way more cool.
Yeah. You bring the actual creativity of of Lego to it.
Yes, precisely. Rather than having a pre-formulated piece,
just like basically like a toy almost.
Yeah, it was just like any other toy.
A toy dinosaur.
Yeah, that's pretty close to really what the classic Lego Dragon was.
All right,
it's just like a toy dinosaur.
So not underwhelming.
Underwhelming is a very good word for it. So I was advocating for this exact point.
All right.
Like I would love to see this Lego come out with a new castle theme and add dragons into it that have this that are built up in the same way that the elves' dragons are, but have them be a little bit more medieval stylized, right? Mm-hmm. So rather than eyelashes and cutesy colors, get some dark reds and some dark greens and actually have like a traditional medieval dragon in the set. And I got pushback from Dragonkin. Not all dragons, literally not all dragons are gold hoarding maiden eaters.
Oh my god.
Literally that.
Wow.
Yes.
What a world.
Yes.
And they weren't ironic? They
weren't
joking?
The one was very vehement. Like, not all dragons. Like, it was just unbelievable to have someone come to
react.
Yes,
like
I
that.
couldn't believe what was happening.
I can't believe hearing it. I want the layers to this.
Yes.
All right, let's peel some of them away.
Literally not all dragons. I was flabbergasted by that.
And did you have a conversation with these people?
Oh yeah,
you said it's one of the best you've had.
I did my best to like all I want is like a different dragon.
Like, all I said is I think this would be a cool set.
Right.
And they're like,
that's
you're stereotyping dragons.
Basically, that's what I was doing. It was unreal.
Oh my god, bro.
That's how deep the left is in their own bullshit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Stereo fucking typing dragons.
Not all dragons.
Not all dragons. Hashtag not all dragons. It's unbelievable.
Oh my god, man. Thank you for sharing that story. I love it. All right, well, not all dragons might be an insight into why the right-wing populisms of the world are surging.
Yeah, very well could be.
Yeah,
it all seems to be interconnected anyways.
Yeah, I mean, well, yes, it is all interconnected, but I guess the point I'm trying to get to is the social aspects of the left have gone so far off the edge that people are just done with it.
Yeah.
Like we're not even talking annoyed and turning off the TV. We're just saying like actively not this. This is madness.
That was the abortion bill.
Yeah.
The abortion bills that have come out.
Yeah.
People are done with that kind of nonsense. They don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely a reaction.
Yeah.
I agree. We're done with this worldview of yours, leftists. We don't agree with you on what human beings are, what the proper direction is, how the organizing principles of society themselves are.
And we're not going to let you organize the world in this way either.
This utopian way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you listen to Douglas Murray?
I've listened to a few of his discussions with. I think I listened to one with Jordan Peterson. I think I've listened to one of the Joe Rogan ones as well. But yeah, I know who you're talking about for sure.
I love Douglas Murray. Mm-hmm. He's one of my favorite conservatives in the entire world. And I was watching, I don't know what you'd call it. I guess a talk he was having with another old school conservative about the future of conservatism and where it should go, where it is going, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But he made an interesting point about multiculturalism, cultural enrichment, which is, I mean, like you let in these new cultures and you get new restaurants, you get some new music, some enrichment for real.
Yeah.
At what point do you get diminishing returns though?
Oh.
Like
bringing in some economic
Yeah,
principles
like,
into it. Now, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And because, like, sure, you get a cool new Mexican restaurant, then you let in 10 million more. Do you need 5,000 more Mexican restaurants? You know, like,
Yeah.
like
Each one shittier than the last one, probably, too.
Probably. But I just thought it was an interesting and brave point to make because it's not easy to talk about.
Yeah, diminishing
but, like,
returns. That's a really interesting way of talking about that. I like that.
I think that he's 100% correct.
Yep.
And the amount of hate that he gets is unwarranted because his mission, as I understand it, is not to be anti-immigration. It's to help people understand what the hell is happening.
Yeah.
And what you need to do to stop it. And it's to understand that this immigration system, it's broken in every way.
Yeah.
Every way. And it needs to be addressed. And maybe, just maybe, utopian leftists, there's a diminishing returns here to your diversity is our strength argument. And,
Well, I would have to agree 100% with that.
yeah, me too.
I think that there obviously is a diminishing return point, an inflection point in there somewhere.
Yeah, and
Why would there not be?
right. I mean, of course there would be. It's just so baffling to me how these people think
Everything's going to be perfect.
that every culture can just mix together all instantly.
Always.
Yeah, it's absurdity. It's absurdity. It's borderline mental illness at times, I think. Like, not all dragons.
Leftist derangement syndrome. Yeah.
That's about right. I anticipate a lot more rise of the right.
Yeah.
I mean, 2.5 years ago now, I started predicting the end of the left. I didn't mean it eternally. Mm-hmm. I just meant, like, this current iteration is done.
This left.
Yep.
This far left.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got the UK going hard Brexit. We've got
France going hard right, Marine Le Pen.
Yep.
Spain, Italy, Brazil elected
Yeah.
a guy who just outlawed homosexuality, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's everywhere.
Yep.
We got America with Trump. Even though I wouldn't lump Trump in entirely with these people, because Trump is way more moderate.
Trump is a traditional Democrat.
Yeah, he's a Manhattan business Democrat.
Yeah.
I've been saying that. You too. We've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
That's pretty obvious.
calm down, everybody. He's not even a fucking Republican.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that he's not a, I'm coming for the gays Republican. It's obviously not that.
It's obviously not that.
So, like, everybody just needs to calm the fuck down.
Well, I think we're past the breaking point.
Well, we clearly are. I mean, if people are electing homophobic presidents
yeah.
although I can kind of see it in southern,
In Brazil?
in a place like Brazil that is, traditionally like Christian Catholic.
Yeah, very, very staunch
Yeah.
Catholic, yeah.
Yeah, that tends to be how I envision most of the, the southern.
Well, I'm going to say something that's controversial. I don't think the LGBT did themselves any credit down there by having their over-the-top parades all the time.
Probably not. No.
I think it was perceived as
degeneracy,
trying to be shoved down the throats of people
Yeah.
who would otherwise not have cared.
Yep.
And I would caution the rest of the world to look at Brazil and calm the fuck down.
Yep.
Like, you have your rights, fine, but I don't know. I guess I don't even know how to say this.
Slow your roll.
Slow your roll? But that sounds so bad because...
Well, what about stop taking pride in things that don't need to be...
There it is.
That don't require you to take pride in them.
Yeah, being gay is not a personality.
No, you don't have anything to be proud of to be gay either. Like, what personal achievement is there in being gay?
There isn't.
Like it's like, well, what personal achievement for you and I? What personal achievement is there in being born a man? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Where I'm not proud of being a man. I'm proud of acting the way that I do typically.
Sure.
Although there's probably some situations where I'm not proud of acting.
Well,
the way that I
we
do,
are
but-
all human after
well, yes, yeah. But yeah, like I'm much more proud of the things that I've done rather than what I am.
Of course, well, as it should be.
Right.
Which is, of course, the same criticism we could level and would level at the alt-right. Mm-hmm. You're like, I refuse to apologize for creating the modern world, is what I see, or the civilized world. I'm like, what did you do, in
Yeah,
your
you
mama's
personally.
basement to create the fucking modern world?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You're taking pride in that which you yourself have no right to take
You
pride
did-
in.
You did nothing.
You did nothing.
Literally nothing.
And being gay is the same.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, counterpoint, there is something to be said, because, like, being straight is the norm. That that being gay, there may have been some struggles to overcome that
Sure.
we wouldn't.
Sure.
But it's okay to take pride in that. But by and large, like, we're in a place now where
Like
the only people who give a shit about what you do behind closed doors with consenting adults, like, that's just no one.
Who actually hates gay people
I
nowadays?
know, right? I fight, or used to fight with people all the time over this. Like, your perception of what middle America is so delusional. Mm-hmm. It's like, we are 2019 too, current year.
Yeah, it is current year.
It
by
is
the way.
current year in the middle of the country too.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just,
every time you see someone post like we're going back to the 1950s, I'm like, no, we're not.
no, we're not.
We're not.
We're not even remotely.
No.
We're just dialing back some of the madness changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's frustrating, because I think that is the source of a lot of our current divide. I think can be traced to the misrepresentation of what the political elites' political opponents are. It's for decades and decades, Hollywood and everyone, like Hollywood, CNN, MSNBC, all the main media has been referring to, like, Nebraska as just backwater hick,
Yeah.
ignorant
Flyover state.
flyover state. Yeah, flyover state is an excellent way to put it. They're
Yeah.
just dismiss these people.
Yep.
And it's so fucking wrong.
Trump. And that's how you get
And
Trump.
that's how you get Trump.
Yep.
Yes. Trump is a absolute reaction.
Yep.
It's all of this populism is a reaction to the elites not listening and also being wrong.
Yes.
Like, it's one thing to not listen but be right.
Yes. Yeah.
But they're also wrong and then not listening on top of it, and it's just going to cause chaos.
Yeah. I agree completely. Yeah.
Well, all right.
I don't know really what else to say to that.
Yeah, I guess if you're in agreement.
And it also doesn't seem to only just be the fact that they're completely dismissive either. It also, I thought like where we were headed right there in that bit was a great way to bring in the mediocrity.
Oh yeah, the mediocrity in which we live.
Yeah, this we tend to promote things that are derivative and boring and
Easily digestible.
yeah,
No
lowest
risk.
common denominator. Like what was a show like Big Bang Theory?
That.
Utter garbage.
Yeah, utter mediocrity.
Yeah, just completely mediocre, boring as hell. All the humor was just insult humor, really.
Basically.
And everybody loved that show. Everybody lapped it up. Everybody just went
Nuts
nuts
over
for that show.
it. Yeah. Except the nerds who they were
Oh yeah.
pretending to portray.
Yeah, well, they're lampooning people like you and I,
Yeah.
and we're just like, fuck you.
Yeah,
That's
I guess-
not me at all.
Not at all. Mm-hmm.
So,
No, yeah, it was very stereotyping. But whatever. The point is that it's
it was lowest common denominator.
Lowest common
It was
denominator.
boring, derivative, mediocre.
yeah, there was no risks taken.
No.
No one really offended. I mean, it's not like I was offended by the show. I just
No.
was like, this is dumb.
Yes. Yeah.
So and you find that a lot.
Yeah.
Music, I think, but more and more and more, the popular songs are all kind of just melding into the same pop song.
They're all the same, yeah.
And television
has been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
I pretty much stopped watching television after the end of Stargate Atlantis. That was a while ago. That was a while ago, yeah. I'm a big Stargate fan. It's
one of my favorite movies, but I've never watched the series.
You should really watch the series. It's pretty good too. The Stargate movie, the original one with
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, yeah.
Yeah,
it was really good too.
Yes, it was. I loved the video game too, but
there was a video game.
Yeah,
huh?
for Super Nintendo.
Huh. Okay.
It was hard, but
all those games were hard though.
Yeah, that's true. They know how to make games back then. Games as well.
Video games are mediocre as shit.
Sometimes, I mean, I would say as all of these industries, video games are chugging along well. Like you still get awesome games getting made.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of increasing shit. Like I think Fallout 4 was the most boring, mediocre game. You know, I think I put like 2 or 3 hours into it. And it was just like I'm just nothing here. But
yeah, everyone. I had never really got into the Fallout games. For some reason I just can't play games like that. I don't know what it is. Like, I played a fair bit of Skyrim.
Yeah,
Skyrim is a great game.
Yeah.
By most people's metrics.
I love Skyrim.
I got to a certain point in it, and I just couldn't play it anymore. Like I did. And I hardly went into the storyline at all. It was it was almost like I was overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that you could do in the game.
Well, there is
and it's hard to focus on any one thing.
There is that.
Like, the plot line of the game is drawing you this way, and yet there's 4 other caves that you can go and explore in that other direction. Mm-hmm. And then by the time you get over to those 4 caves, there's 4 more caves that you can explore.
Sure.
So it's just so much to do. And then half the way to that cave, you get waylaid by a fucking dragon or some shit.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, oh shit. Well, now I have to go back and heal up and get, acquire also.
Rinse, repeat.
Right. And so now I'm hoofing it back all the way to those damn caves that I wanted to go explore.
Yeah. I would say, because Morrowind is another one of my favorite games ever. I would say that Skyrim is another example of the mediocrity.
Oh, really? Mediocrity, yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's a great game and I love it, it's not as good. I think I see it simplifying the mechanics, dumbing the mechanics down with like fast travel and stuff like that. It's just making it so that more people of lower engagement value, let's say, will be able to enjoy it.
We'll pick up the game. Okay.
Whereas Morrowind was much trickier. You actually had to read the books that you picked up to figure stuff out. There was oftentimes there wasn't a marker on your map to figure out where you're headed. There's just clues to figure out. There's no fast travel. There's just so it was much more engaged and difficult.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I would have a hard time playing a game like that. That would be tough.
Oh, I don't know, dude. It was so much fun, though.
Really?
It was so addicting, yeah. Because it wasn't like over the top difficult. Okay. It was just, it demanded engagement.
Okay.
So I think that even though I love Skyrim, it's easier now. Like you can just fast travel. Right. You click on a quest, and instantly it tells you where you need to go.
Right.
You just fast travel there, and then you just slay the monsters and go home, get paid. Which is cool, but it's not quite the same.
Movies are getting worse too.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Movies are really bad.
They're getting stale.
Well, that's what happens when you just want to make the same old movies again with different actors and actresses, and call it a blockbuster.
Right.
Like Ghostbusters was already a great movie. We didn't need female Ghostbusters.
We didn't need another one.
No.
And didn't need one that was trying to make a statement is what it is.
Nope. There was that too.
That's my problem. I don't care that they were female. I care that they were made to be female because they're female. Yeah.
Yep.
And
then they slapped the Ghostbuster symbol on it.
Exactly.
And they didn't have to work at all for the cult classic that Ghostbusters is, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't earn their stripes.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
And it's like that for almost every other fucking movie movie that comes out that isn't like a Marvel movie, right?
Yeah. And even Marvel movies. I mean, as much as I love them, I mean, they're starting to get stale.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can only do it so long.
I rarely go to Marvel movies anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen either of the latest Avengers films.
Neither of the Avengers films. I was gonna say I haven't seen Endgame yet.
I haven't gone to Endgame, and I haven't seen the previous one.
Captain Marvel, I haven't seen either.
No, I don't know if I'll ever go to that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Black Panther, which I've heard is a pretty good movie.
I have never seen Black Panther yet either.
Yeah.
Although everyone whose opinion I respect says it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of didn't really want to go to that one because it seems like, well, it was obvious. Not that it was obvious, because I don't think Black Panther has ever been a cultural force, really. Like, maybe not, certainly not in the same way like Spider-Man has been. I have some really interesting ideas, thoughts on Spider-Man, but we can talk about that maybe in a little bit. But with like Black Panther, it was like right around when Black Lives Matter was kind of at its height, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I don't really hear a whole lot about Black Lives Matter anymore.
No, it's kind of faded.
Yeah, and I think, well, they finally got their movie, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's why.
And they got a good movie too, as I understand.
By all
it.
rights, by all estimations, I guess they probably did. Wakanda forever.
Right. I just try at this point. I don't want to support anything that's politicized.
Yeah.
Which is getting very difficult because everything is becoming politicized.
Yep.
And it's not even the politics that it's pushing that are my problem. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that there's any at all where they don't belong.
Yeah.
And
if you're going to push politics, push it within its own universe.
What do you mean exactly?
Well, okay, say you have two political factions warring in a movie.
Okay.
Keep it within the universe. Like, don't try to make a point out of it in reality.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Do it that way.
I would agree. That's really a lot more opinion based though. Even though I think it's a good way to do it. I've always thought that's the way to do it.
Yeah, if you want to make a cultural commentary or a political commentary on something,
do it inside its own universe.
Yeah, try doing it like that. And maybe your movie will resonate outside of the universe.
Yeah. Outside of because once you start making direct links to the real event, then you lose half your audience.
Right. If you're going to make a space science fiction movie, don't put space Trump in there.
Yeah, exactly. Don't put space Trump in there and make him Hitler.
Yeah.
Space Hitler.
Yeah. No one's gonna want to watch that. People don't go to movies to watch that.
No.
Unless you're some kind
of
raging leftist.
People don't buy video games to watch that. People don't. They don't get comic books for. I mean,
people are done with it. People are done with it,
and it's happening more and more. And it seems to, and it looks like it has a political flavor of its own to it. By which I mean, it looks like it's the right wing, but it's not. It's the what's happening. I believe is that it's only the left that keeps politicizing everything. So when we say don't politicize that, it looks like we're just against the left, but that's not it. We're against politicization where it does not belong.
Yeah, we're apolitical.
And it just happens that one side is doing it while the other isn't.
Isn't that kind of weird? It's almost like atheism.
It is a lot like that.
It's almost the exact same thing because, well, if you want to, I guess the stereotypical way that like a Christian conservative would talk to an atheist, right, is, well, you're still religious, right? You still hold a belief, right?
Atheism is a religion.
Yeah, atheism is a religion. You still have to believe something about God in order to think something, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Some kind of lazy ass argument like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same. It's the exact same style of argument when we're trying to say like we're done. We don't want to partake in your politics.
Exactly. That's such a good way to put it. It is, we are culturally political atheists.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't want my art forms and culture to be infected with
leftist groupthink.
Yeah, with politics that don't belong there. Now, if you want to tell a leftist story, that's fine. Cut it from whole cloth, though.
Yeah, try making something new, but the left is so damn predictable that it's going to be really hard for them to come out of that and make something new.
They're not coming out of it. They're just going to get piss pounded into the ground every election until they're something happens.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that something will be.
Yeah, it might be a case where, at this point, it might be the case where you kind of have to be like, well, they're going to die someday. You know, I hate to put it like that, but it's kind of like how a lot of people would think about people, I guess, like racist or something like that.
Old.
Yeah, your old school type.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Super traditional. You know, they're not going to be around forever. They're going to die, and then their views will be gone, right?
Right.
I hate to put it that way, but maybe that's how it'll turn out. I don't know.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
I would not hate to put it that way, because the alternative is make them dead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You know, if that's the way the views go, how about we just let it happen gradually, non-violently, you know, and we don't need to force this change. But it concerns me, because that's what the left seems to do. This seems to be what they're all about, forcing change.
Yep.
And there is nothing more frightening to me than that.
Yeah. Yep. Especially when they're pushing it from every angle that they possibly can. And any kind of like video games, movies, television, radio,
and increasingly cavalier about violence towards those who try to oppose them.
It's okay to throw a milkshake at someone because it's funny.
It's okay to punch a Nazi, and by the way, everyone I don't like is a Nazi.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, and more than just the actual events, like physicality that has occurred, it's in the rhetoric that scares me the most. It's the cavalier disregard for human rights because of their perceived beliefs of other people.
Because you think differently.
Yeah. And to be fair, some of the people they do oppose are vile human beings in my estimation as well. But they're less vile than these leftists, because they're just saying things like racist things. They're not actually hurting people, human beings. Like,
right.
I don't know what happened to civilization that you would like glorify in the loss of someone else, like someone's life being harmed. You know? I don't know.
Yeah. I used to try to make my point on a science page on Facebook, and I still have it saved on my phone. But the guy who runs the page actually said something to the effect of, if Kyrgyzstan was a real country, I wish it would get bombed.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of rhetoric that you see.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, or also like, what was it? I want to say it was Captain Marvel. I heard a little anecdote. I haven't seen the movie, but apparently she some dude insulted her or something, and then she used her powers to subdue him and said, give me your jacket or I'll take your hand. And then feminists are like, yeah, that's justice. That's justice. I'm like, no, that is villain behavior.
Yeah.
And the fact that you think that's justice is exactly what I would expect from you.
Yep.
Which is why I am fucking terrified of you.
Yeah.
Like, the way you see justice in your head is so gross. And your inability to look at yourself in the mirror accurately, because when people call you on it, you just call them the person who needs to get their hand cut off.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see yourselves. You don't know how bad you look. You know? I suppose you know.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about where all this is headed. Because I am almost positive now after these elections that it's right-wing populism. Mm-hmm. And we're going right-wing. It's how hard right.
Yeah,
I don't yet know.
I hope it's not too hard.
I do too, because I'm a social liberal, you know? Like, I'm all for gay rights. I'm all for whatever lifestyle choices you want to make, so long as it's consensual, of course. But I do not like this rhetoric I see rising from the right about homosexuality is a sin, or the term sodomy coming back into usage.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, not a fan. But
Christ.
I know, I do not know what to do about it. I guess talk about it.
Well, at least we're already prepared for that, because we've already had those kinds of arguments with people, right?
That's true. You and
that's a really neat thing, right? Almost the entirety of the anti-social justice community on YouTube busted their chops by criticizing religion, right?
Yep, I certainly did.
Yeah,
that was my first trench wars, were in the trenches of theism, atheism.
Yeah, constantly going on to. I was constantly going onto YouTube looking at Armored Skeptic and T.J. Kirk, the Amazing Atheist, and stuff like that. And Thunderfoot was another really good one too. He had some good ones. Although I much prefer him for his science content than I do for his political content.
Fair enough.
He did have some good political content.
Yeah.
And then he kind of went all lefty on everybody, but.
Well, hey, he's allowed to.
Yeah.
He's at least he doesn't advocate violence and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's fine in my book in that regard. But
fair enough.
we did become veterans in the great atheist-theist debates of the early internet.
Yeah, we know how to counter this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We also know how to talk cordially with people.
Well, used to.
Or try to.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to do it.
It was post Gamergate when all of a sudden it became impossible.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you tried.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, is the minute that the media priest class started losing its seat of power.
Yeah.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
It was the rise of a new religion.
Yep. Well, I would say it was the end of religion.
Oh, okay. It was
the end of the media priest left religion.
The beginning of the end, for sure.
Yeah, beginning of the end.
But also, I would say the discovery of a hidden religion.
Sure.
Like, who really saw the way that who really saw it coming?
I didn't. Not until after Trump got elected, and I finally looked into it, and then I saw it coming.
Yeah, it was.
But that was late in the game to see it. I think.
Nobody really. I can't think of anybody that really saw any of this coming the way that it did.
The way that no way, dude. I would never in a million years have predicted this.
No, I don't think anybody in Gamergate thought that they were criticizing a religion when they started voicing their opinions on the way that the media class was handling gaming journalism or journalism in general.
Right.
And all of a sudden, a couple of years later, someone I think might have been Dr. Randombercam who made the original comparison. I don't know for sure that social justice looks a hell of a lot like a goddamn religion.
Right. Well, now it's commonly referred to as.
And it's obvious.
It's obvious, yes.
It's obvious. It has the exact same setup as...
They're Puritans. And it's funny that they're incapable of recognizing that. That you're the Puritans, guys.
Yeah.
That's what you are. And you can't see it? Wow. It's
the discovery of a hidden religion and the end of that religion kind of at the same time.
Yep. Yeah.
Or at least that's kind of what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to dig into there.
Oh, man.
We'll have to make that another episode because we're past an hour here already.
Are we already? We hardly even covered any of the stuff we wanted to talk about today.